Welcome to Mr. Grimm's Realm of the Unseen. I'm Mr. Grimm, your guide to the supernatural and the spine-chilling. If you crave thrills and mysteries, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe and join me as we explore the darkest corners of the unknown. Are you ready to face your fears? In a desolate, forgotten village, there was a pair of brothers named Cain and Abel, just as in the ancient scriptures. They were the last descendants of a once mighty family, living in a land where the shadows of their forebears whispered through the trees. The brothers lived on opposite sides of a cursed valley that no one dared cross. Cain, the elder, was a reclusive farmer. His land was dry and barren, but he toiled endlessly, hoping to coax some sustenance from the soil. Abel, the younger, was a shepherd who lived in a lush pasture filled with thriving sheep. Their prosperity was the envy of Cain, whose bitterness festered like a disease. The villagers told tales of an ancient pact that bound the land. Offerings made to the dark deity beneath the valley would yield bountiful harvests or protect one from ill fortune. Cain scoffed at these tales, believing them to be nothing more than superstition. Abel, however, kept the old traditions, offering the firstborn of his flock in solemn rituals. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Cain decided to make an offering of his own. He carried a meager bundle of his withered crops to the valley's edge, where the shadows grew long and the air turned cold. There he placed the bundle on an altar of stone and whispered a fervent plea. Unbeknownst to him, Abel had chosen this night to offer his own sacrifice, a lamb selected with care and reverence. He placed it upon a separate, sacred altar at the far end of the valley. As he did so, a strange wind began to howl through the valley, and the sky grew darker than usual. The moment Cain finished his prayer, the ground beneath his offering began to tremble. From the darkened depths of the valley, a grotesque form emerged, an ancient, twisted being with eyes like burning coals. The being inspected Cain's offering with disdain and then turned its attention to Abel's sacrifice. The air around Abel's offering shimmered with an otherworldly light, and the entity recoiled in frustration. Enraged and desperate, Cain grabbed a heavy stone and made his way toward Abel. As Abel finished his ritual and began walking back, he sensed something was wrong. He turned just in time to see Cain rushing toward him. In a desperate act of violence fueled by envy, Cain struck Abel, the stone crushing his brother's skull. Abel collapsed, and the valley fell eerily silent. As Abel lay dying, the dark entity loomed over him, its form shifting and writhing in a horrifying display. Cain, overwhelmed with guilt and terror, fled back to his own lands, only to find that his crops had withered entirely. The land itself seemed to reject him, turning barren and hostile. Night after night, Cain was haunted by visions of Abel's anguished spirit and the dark being that had cursed the land. The shadows of the valley whispered of his crime, and the once familiar village became a place of despair and madness. His brother's ghost, forever wandering the cursed ground, sought retribution, and the dark entity continued to hunger for more offerings, leaving Cain in perpetual torment. The villagers spoke of the cursed valley with hushed voices, warning others of the fate that befell Cain and Abel. And so the story of the brothers served as a grim reminder of the consequences of envy and the darkness that can be summoned by forsaking the old ways.